a new one.
New one?
Oh yeah, new one. You change its name for array, so it's will work. And the
Okay.
new one we'll call it for or for loop for loops. Okay.
Okay.
So how do we for example, if I ask you to add all integer number from 1 to 1,000, it will take you some time to do that. But
Well, I could do an interval.
yeah, but even if you do an interval, how can you compute number 1 to 1,000? Like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 uh, 2 plus 1,000. So that's
True.
so how to compute into compute integers from 1 to 1,000. We use a for loop. So a for loop is like an if or a while or a function, but that will execute a number of times. So let's say that we have okay, we'll start with a simple for loop. First of all, we need a counter, like so we'll create an int that we will call I. So I calling int, and it will start at 0 equals 0. You need a space between a var and I.
Whoops. Yes. One. Okay, two. Okay.
Okay. Now the for loop. The for loop is for open parentheses. So we have to set the beginning value. So we'll type I equal 0. This is the beginning value. After that is semicolon,
Mm-hmm.
not colon, really semicolon. And after
Yeah.
that, I is less or equal than, I don't know, 10. No, simply less than 10. No equal. After that, semicolon, I plus plus.
Okay. 10. Plus plus means increment.
Increment by 1. You could also write plus equal 1 if you prefer.
Okay.
And then close parenthesis and open curly brackets. Okay. So what that code does is, okay, it starts at 0 uh, for the variable I. Okay, we choose a variable I. It could be anything else. But it starts at 0. It will execute the code between the curly brackets until I is no more less than 10. Until okay, I will say formulate it this way. It will execute the code between the brackets as long as I
Between
is less
the
than 10.
curly brackets. As long as I is smaller than 10.
Yeah, this is the condition that we type, and I will increment by 1 at after each execution.
After.
By 2, by 1. Sorry.
Whoops. Okay.
Okay, so just inside the for loop, we'll trace the value of I just to see what's happening. So as you can see, it's going to I worth 0, 1, 2, 3 until it reaches 10, and
So to do 1 to 1,000, we just have to do like an increment. No, I forgot.
okay, there are 3 parameters. Okay, the first one is the starting value. So the starting value here is it's 0. So that's why it traces 0 at first. Okay, so it starts at 0 and it executes this code. Okay, so trace I, that word has a value of 0, so trace 0. After that, after each execution, it will increment the I value by 1. So now I has a value of 1. And then it checks if I is smaller than 10, then execute the code again. So it traces 1 and then increments I by 1. So I has a value of 2. If 2 is smaller than 10, execute the code again and again and again and again until I has a value of 9. So it traces 9. And after that, it increments its value by 1. So now I has a value of 10. Does 10 is less than 10? No. So it's get out of the it's getting out of the for loop, and it stops. So that's why it is stopping at 9, because it has executed 10 times and now I has a value of 10, so it doesn't execute the code in the for loop. So that's a for. I will show you another example. So I will just comment the trace I, so we won't have like 10 lines. Okay. If I want to know the sum of integers from 1 to 10. Okay. I need a sum variable that will contain the value. So sum, it will be an integer. It will start at 0. Then I will create a for loop. So it will be for I equals 0. No, in fact, I equal 1 because I want to start at 1. I want the sum from 1 to 10. Semicolon, I less than 11, or maybe less or equal to 10, because I want I to have a value of 10 at some point. Semicolon, I plus equal 1. So right now you have to understand that I will have the value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally 10. And after, when it will have value of 11, the code won't execute again. So it will go out of the for loop. So what you want to do at each execution is to add the value of I to the sum. So we'll simply type sum plus equal I. So if you think about it, at first sum has a value of 0, then we do plus 1, plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we stop. And after the for loop, we want to trace the answer, so we will trace the sum. There's nothing because we're not tracing the answer.
Trace some. Whoops. 10.
Okay, you
should have done trace I.
I will try it on my side. Mine is giving me 55, which is the right answer. Okay, yeah, because you type sum plus equal 1, so it's adding 1 to sum 10 times. It is plus equal I, because I has a value of 0, 1, 2, 3. So
55.
55. If you take a calculator and do it, it will give you 55. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5.
Okay.
Okay. So that's our for loops. That's about it. But if we merge arrays with for loops, it's become so powerful, it's changed everything, really everything. So I will show you an example. We'll create
Mm-hmm.
a third program, which we will call bouncing balls again. And in fact, I think we will open our bouncing ball program that we already did. Bouncing ball final. Yeah, this one.
Whoops. Open. What? Oh,
Oh,
open the wrong
this is the
one.
one with the animation. But it doesn't mind. We can open this one.
Well, where'd I put it? Is it here? Oh,
Bouncing
because
ball
I'm
4.
in the wrong folder.
Yeah, I have the fourth one, which is kind of great. Okay, so we'll start with this one. Maybe resave it with I don't know, 5 bouncing ball or bouncing
Save
ball
as
array. Array.
bouncing ball the sequel.
SQL. Yeah. Okay. So firstly, we will just remove the score box. We don't want it for now. And in the code, at the bottom, there was like a click event. We'll just remove all that. Click, and we'll remove the add event listener for a click at the beginning also. So
Wait,
can delete
I'm
all that.
I'm lost.
Okay, okay. At the bottom,
Uh
starting at
huh.
line 64. That's when
64.
we were clicking on the ball. So remove all that till the end because we won't doesn't
Okay.
matter. And at the top, we'll remove the listener that we added to be able to click on the ball. So those 3 lines, lines 5 to 7. Okay, so if we quickly review the code, first of all, we add 11 listener, so the run function execute at each frame. After that, we have speed x1, speed y1 for the first ball, same thing for the second ball. After we have the text box that we can remove, we don't want it. And after that, we have this code right there that makes the ball one move. And then we have some code that is checking if ball one touches the horizontal borders, it will bounce. Same thing for vertical. And then we have the same code for ball two.
Mm-hmm.
What you are going to do, we are going to make 10 ball moves with 3 lines of code. Okay,
Free lines.
3 or maybe 5 or 6, but not that much as we actually are using right now.